Welcome to Gas Ed. Today, we will be discussing how to actually deliver AI projects to clients, APIs, hosting, and the handover process. A lot of developers are great at building AI automations, but when it's time to actually hand the finished product over to the client, the process starts to buckle. The builder takes on the responsibility of hosting the environment, managing the infrastructure, and handling the billing, turning what should be a clean handoff into a messy, ongoing burden. Running automations on your own servers means you are on the hook when things break. You get hit with endless requests for free tweaks. You absorb the legal liabilities of holding sensitive personal data under laws like GDPR, and you trap yourself in the role of a billing babysitter, trying to estimate token usage and chasing down monthly invoices. Transitioning an AI agent from a test environment to a live client requires strict boundaries. Successful delivery depends on a rigid, phased lifecycle framework. Adopting this structured approach is the only reliable way to scale an AI agency. By formalizing how these systems are handed over, you protect your time and avoid drowning in operational debt. The first rule is non-negotiable. The client must host their own workflow instance. The automation needs to live entirely within their own environment. This client-side hosting guarantees data sovereignty and protects you from compliance violations of operating as an unauthorized service provider. That same logic applies to external tools. Clients must create their own accounts, generate API keys, and paste them in. You have to avoid touching the billing entirely. The client enters their own credit card, retaining full visibility over costs, seeing where their money goes, removing your financial liability if a workflow unexpectedly spikes. Drawing hard boundaries around infrastructure and API keys protects their privacy and your profit margin. Even safely housed on the client's server, the workflow remains vulnerable if the data entering it isn't strictly controlled. For webhook hardening, every external trigger must be cryptographically authenticated. The system verifies that signature, blocking unverified requests. Once inside, you apply data minimization, dropping anything extraneous, which limits exposure and ensures compliance with global privacy laws. Testing AI introduces specific challenges beyond standard software bugs. You must evaluate abstract qualities like output relevance, brand tone accuracy, and response consistency over hundreds of edge case runs. To capture all of this, you build an execution log. You configure the system to record what came in, the AI's logic, and the output. This tracks all failure patterns, spots recurring bad inputs, and identifies what triggers a hallucination. When edge cases occur in live production, this rigorous paper trail of testing and logging provides an objective defense for the system. With testing complete, you move to deployment. You never want to push updates directly into a live, active client system. You follow standard software engineering practices. You keep one version of the workflow as an active test environment. Once the logic is finalized and validated there, that specific build is cleanly duplicated and pushed over into the live production environment. Before the physical handover occurs, you execute basic workflow hygiene. You meticulously label every step of the logic, leave sticky notes explaining the architecture, and permanently strip out any sensitive developer tokens that were used during testing. You then accompany this final build with clear documentation or a walkthrough video. Future developers and internal teams need to be able to open the project and comprehend exactly what was built and why. Proper workflow hygiene and thorough documentation guarantee the automation functions seamlessly long after your immediate involvement ends, preventing bottlenecks. The technical build means absolutely nothing if the legal and financial boundaries of your project remain entirely open-ended. You have to explicitly define what done actually means. You sit down with the client and compare the finalized workflow directly against the original scope of work contract, confirming that every promised feature and connection behaves exactly as agreed upon. At this point, you clearly delineate the difference between project delivery, which is a one-time operational bill, and ongoing maintenance, which is a recurring service. By offering a separate, clearly defined maintenance retainer to handle future bug fixes, routine platform updates, and system monitoring, you establish a structure that inherently prevents scope creep while creating a predictable stream of recurring revenue. Enforcing these formal, legal, and financial boundaries at handover separates amateur builders from professional AI consultants. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe.